Hi there. So in this series of Unity tutorials, I've been showing you how to set up VR support, but I promised along the way that we would make sure we were supporting for Macs and for computers that don't have VR headsets attached. In this tutorial, I will show you how to use the XR device simulator to allow you to develop VR projects on a Mac or on a PC where you don't have a headset around. So in my tutorial where I showed you how to set up XR support in Unity, one of the things we got was a package called the XR Interaction Toolkit, and we twirled open samples and downloaded not only starter assets, but we also downloaded the XR device simulator. And now we're going to go find that. It's in our project window under Assets, and then Samples, XR Interaction Toolkit, the version we chose, and then XR Device Simulator. And inside this, we have a prefab. This is our XR Device Simulator prefab. And just like our XR Origin setup, we can click and drag this and drop it into our sample scene. Now, the trick is that this object and that object are sort of competing to do the same thing. So while your XR device simulator is enabled, it takes precedent. But if you have your headset still attached, like if you're just trying this out on a PC and you do have a headset set up, in link mode or something like that, when you hit play, it will play on the screen like a sort of first-person shooter style experience, but in your headset, it's going to make you super seasick because the two cameras conflict with each other, and like the head tracking doesn't work correctly anymore, and the whole world just kind of like moves with your head in a way that's very disconcerting. So if you experience that, if you hit play and your head in your headset is very low to the ground and the world is moving like opposite of the way it should in a VR project, it's because your XR device simulator object is still enabled. This is also very likely to happen when you finally build in the end. So when, we're not there yet, but when we finally want to build this for Quest or for a standalone headset, we want the XR device simulator to be at the very least not enabled or maybe just deleted to make sure. But almost certainly somewhere along the way, if you're developing with the device simulator, you will accidentally make a build that has it enabled, and you'll know because when you put your headset on, the whole world will sort of rock back and forth and you'll be very low to the ground. So with that warning out of the way, we always want to be cognizant of what we have our XR device simulator toggled. So when we're trying to preview in headset or build to headset, the device simulator should be toggled off, and its name in the hierarchy should be sort of dim and grayed out. But when we're working with it kind of in preview mode and we want to use the device simulator, we make sure to enable it. So with the device simulator enabled, here's how it works. You hit play and it's going to show you a kind of mock-up first-person shooter style, and your mouse moves your head around. W, A, S, and D are kind of the standard movement controls in PC gaming, and those are going to strafe you left and right and move you back and forth. So far so good. We're able to move around and look, and turn with our mouse, strafe with our controls. And my first challenge to you, if you're following along, would just be to like try to get used to these controls. Make sure you can walk towards your different objects and move around where you want. The trick comes when you want to start controlling the controllers separately. That's where this panel that's on the left-hand side really comes in handy to give you a cheat sheet for your controls. So let's say I wanted to use this laser pointer and point it down at the cube. there are two options here. I can see on the left-hand side where it says cycle XR input, I can use tab to cycle through what I'm controlling. So right now, the blue highlight moved from the head-mounted display, the HMD, to the controller. And indeed, if I use my mouse, now I'm rotating the controller. So I can point that laser pointer down or up or wherever I want. If I hit tab again, I'm rotating the other controller. And if I hit tab again, I'm back to the headset. So I can just tab through my kind of three parts of my avatar, my head and my two hands. You can also take temporary control of those controllers with the T and Y toggle. So if I hit T, I'm on the left one. If I hit T again, I'm back to wherever I was. Y, I'm on the right one and back to where I was. While I've toggled to the controller in question, you can see in this cheat sheet on the left side what the controls are. So my left joystick is W, S, A, and D. And luckily I've got movement control bound to my left joystick, which we set up in the last tutorial. So I can still move around. But you'll notice that the trigger button is the left mouse. So if we had something set to trigger, that would do it. And the grip button is G. The other face buttons on like a standard Oculus type controller are mapped to N and M and B. So that's going to allow us to mock up controls and test out our project without having to have a headset, or indeed without even having to have a computer that can have a headset, because at the time of recording, Macintoshes do not allow you to just hit play and preview on a headset. If you want to develop on a Mac, I highly recommend that you do your sort of iterative small test play modes using the device simulator. And then when you have to test something larger that doesn't work real well with mouse control, or, you know, maybe every half hour or hour or so you've done enough that you really want to try it on headset, in that case, the way you do it is you have to actually build and run. So in a future tutorial, I will show you how to set up build settings so that they're, going to publish directly to your Quest 2. But yeah, for Mac development on the Quest 2 or other equivalents, I think the best way forward is the XR Device Simulator for small tests, and then for major tests to actually make a build to the headset. There are a number of settings in the XR Device Simulator that come with defaults, but I want to make you aware of one of them in particular. When you click on XR Device Simulator and then twirl open sensitivity, this is where we could make a distinction between how fast we move in headset and how fast we move when we're device simulating. So these keyboard translate numbers, those are deciding how quickly we're moving. And in headset, like I said in a previous tutorial, we might want the continuous movement to be relatively slow so it doesn't make our players nauseous. But when we're just looking at it on the screen in the device simulator, it might feel really, really slow to us because we're not worried about nausea then. So you could turn this up, and the device simulator would essentially walk faster than the headset really does. So by default, it's on 5, and all the directions that it can move in are 0.2. So I think the math of that would be that it comes out to a movement speed of 1, which is what we have our headset set as 2. But if I double this to 10, now we're moving twice as fast as we would be in headset, which feels much more reasonable in the device simulator. Whereas in headset, that might start to be too fast for some players. One word to the wise is, as you're getting used to controlling your mouse to move all over the place, If your mouse sort of gets stuck because you've clicked out on the Unity interface, you can click back in the game window to control again. If you're having trouble getting back out to the Unity interface to, say, turn off play mode, you can hit escape to get your mouse back without controlling your HMD